Former DEA agent Joseph Bongiovanni is back on trial 3 months after a hung jury could not agree on nearly a dozen charges against him. Opening statements were heard today. 2 on your side's Dave McKinley just returned from the courtroom tonight. Dave?
Mary Alice's testimony may have just gotten underway, but already the judge here is admonishing the sides in this second trial to keep things moving, expressing a concern that if they don't, this trial, like the last one, will extend well beyond the 6 to 8 weeks that jurors chosen to serve were told it would last. Shielded by an umbrella from an afternoon rain, Bongiovanni's former boss at the DEA came to give testimony. The government accuses Bongiovanni of purposely listing drug dealers as confidential informants with no intent of using them as such, but instead so he'd be alerted if they or their associates fell under investigation by any other law enforcement agency, and that he tipped them off in exchange for bribes. Dale Kasperzak, now a fraud investigator for M&T Bank, was the resident agent in charge of the DEA's Buffalo office for 2 of the 10 years that Bongiovanni was allegedly on the take. He testified that in 2009, Bongiovanni told him that Faro strip club owner Peter Gerace, a co-defendant who will be tried separately, offered to become an informant if he could get a break on a charge of violating his probation after failing a drug test. Kasperzak testified that Bongiovanni described Gerace only as an acquaintance from the neighborhood whom he'd grown up with. But prosecutors say Bongiovanni failed to tell his boss that the two were actually friends who socialized and even went on vacations together. When asked by prosecutors, would you have permitted Bongiovanni to handle cases involving Peter Gerace if you knew that? Kasperzak replied, "No, sir, I would not." When asked if the DEA had a policy against agents associated with known felons, Kasperzak answered, "It is prohibited." When asked, would you have approved him as Bongiovanni's confidential informant, Kasperzak answered, "No, I would not have." Peter Gerace, meanwhile, is set to go on trial starting October 28th. This isn't the only case that he has been indicted for, and there was a status conference today regarding another case Gerace is involved with, just 2 floors down from where the Bongiovanni trial is now underway. It was revealed there that Gerace refused to be transported into court today, and that with all of his other legal bills, he is now asking for the court to provide his representation, as his money in defending himself against the government has now been exhausted. On your side in the newsroom, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.
Dave.